ferreting out and perhaps destroying.
Iran has readied missiles and military gear to strike U.S. bases in the Middle East if Washington enters Israel's war. Source: The New York Times.
Iran's nuclear capabilities. That is really a central question, not only for the Trump foreign policy, but certainly for the world. And this is something that the president, when he was being sworn into office on Inauguration Day, he talked about being a peacemaker. He talked about ending long wars. Of course, that has been the anthem of his really last 10.
By the way, new polling out for Newswire, Insider Advantage poll. 74% of Americans say Iran must be stopped from developing nuclear weapons. I'm seeing a lot of these like inconsistent polls because the YouGov poll that just came out show that there is major opposition amongst Americans, amongst the American population, of intervention in Iran. But I'm seeing like a lot of these wonky ass fucking polls left and right. And that could be a matter of like Americans and their inconsistency. It's the same principle behind like, you know, majority say they want amnesty and majority also say they want mass deportation, right? Like that happens all the time. But this could also be a byproduct. It could be a byproduct of the framing, the way that the question is framed, or it could be a byproduct of the media manufacturing machine, the consent manufacturing machine working in real time across every spectrum, across every single outlet, no matter what the ideological component is, claiming that like Iran must not have nukes, Iran is going to nuke us, Iran must not have nukes. So, who knows? Why would popular support matter? I mean, no one wants instability. Donald Trump is also clearly a little bit invested in making sure that at least his base remains intact. And if there are a tremendous amount of people in his base that are actively saying, we don't want to go to war with Iran, what the fuck are you doing? Then you know, that limits, I guess, that limits like how much intervention is how much public appetite there is for intervention. Because he's already underwater with every aspect. Not that America is a real democracy that demands constant popular support for everything that the government is doing. Clearly that doesn't exist. But, you know, that's still somewhat of a concern, I think. That's always going to be a concern of every administration, no matter what.
And years in American political life here, but by saying we, that clearly is implicit there. But he's also responding to the vice president, to J.D. Vance, who offered some commentary just a short time ago as well, pushing back against this growing divide inside the MAGA movement. Some supporters of the president believe the U.S. should not be involved at all. And a very interesting window into part of the administration.
Hassan's base does not care. We're not putting boots on the ground unless Iran directly hits military assets and kills directly military personnel. Yeah, that's the difference. That right there is not the incorrect assessment. You're right. If Americans have broad appetite for, Air Force campaigns, as demonstrated by Yemen. The difference here, however, is that if they are doing bombing campaigns and Iran retaliates against American troop positions in the region, which they can very clearly strike, okay? Because there is a fuck ton of American bases in the region, which Iran says they will. At that point, it's a matter of how much restraint will Iran apply? Will they actually eat American missile strikes without any retaliation whatsoever towards American military, American troops in the region? Because, as you said, then it's full-blown war, right? The stock market cares. That's what will matter. I don't even know anymore.
Administration's thinking coming from Vice President Vance. Let's read a part of it together. He says this, speaking of the president, he may decide he needs to take further action to end Iranian enrichment. That decision ultimately belongs to the president. The vice president goes on to say, and of course, people are right to be worried about foreign entanglement after the last 25 years of idiotic foreign policy. But I believe the president has earned some trust on this issue. Well, boy, Dana, there is a lot packed into that. Of course, 25 years would include the Bush administration and beyond. And this is the central question facing this president now. Is he going to engage and get the United States engaged in a wider war, or is he going to essentially watch from the sidelines with perhaps a bit of help? But we do believe that those decisions will be made in the coming hours, beginning with a meeting in the Situation Room at some point this afternoon.
Before I let you go, Jeff, I just want to underscore.
Chatters, I have yet to cover Brad Lander's arrest and detainment and release. Obviously, because there's a somewhat of a more pressing matter unfolding in front of us, which is World War III and potential American escalations in the region, maybe even going to war with Iran. I will eventually get to Brad Lander getting arrested by ICE. Don't worry.
Because a lot has happened like in the last 10 minutes. But I want to underscore that last point that you made. And that is that the Vice President of the United States is not only speaking for the White House here, but he's clearly speaking to the president's MAGA supporters who are really pushing him not to get involved because they're saying...
Residents of Tel Aviv and Haifa in Israel should leave these areas to save your lives, Iranian Brigadier General Sayed Abdulrahim Musawi said in a televised message on Tuesday, though it is not clear that Iran can make good on such threats. He said Iran's barrage of missiles against Israel so far were deterrents, and soon Iran would move to retaliation attacks. I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know if Iran is simply posturing to create fear in Israeli society, create a sense of panic in Israeli society, or if they actually have the capacities to deliver a fuck ton of payload to these areas and truly damage like Israeli infrastructure. Iran Arabic News just said Iran is aiming their rockets towards American bases in the region in case Trump chooses to join the war. I struggle at reading Arabic, slow as fuck. Please read this. I saw. Iranian officials told the New York Times that their country could start to place mines in the Strait of Hormuz if U.S. joined the war. Heard it's called the deployment meal.
Brothers defect.
I mean, these are, I don't know when these are from, but yes, the steak and lobster, surf and turf is deployment. Is a deployment meal. Yes. I still get the World War III angle here. Who would back Iran in this scenario? Russia and China. Also Armenia. Maybe Pakistan, who knows? Most of the Middle East, nah, they wouldn't. They wouldn't touch. They would fucking join the war on the side of America and Israel. DPRK. Belarus. I mean, every day they've just been talking about how America any moment now is going to join.
Who has historically been one of the leading voices opposed to the U.S. getting involved in foreign conflicts. It really was a remarkable lengthy post that he put out for many reasons, but especially the